We've had over a week now to digest the NFL draft and all of the changing values that have happened since, so it's time for another version of my Dynasty spin on Guy Fieri's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives to scour through the ugly parts of Dynasty ADP and find those hidden gems among the muck. So welcome into another episode of Dynasty Fallers, Fill-Ins, and Flyers. First up, we have our faller, who is probably going to gain some value now because of his recent signing, but even with a spike in ADP, he's still going to be an insanely cheap one-year rental for contenders, and I'm talking about Ezekiel Elliott, who is now back with the Dallas Cowboys as their main RB1. And look, is Zeke going to return to peak 2018 form now that he's back in Dallas? Probably not, but we don't need him to turn back the clock for him to still be a relevant every week starter at the position for fantasy, and last year proved that to us in New England. From weeks 13 through 18, Zeke took over as the RB1 for the Patriots with Ramondre Stevenson injured, and in those 6 games, averaged 20 touches per game for almost 80 yards and 0.5 touchdowns. He averaged 15.9 fantasy points per game and was the RB7 overall during that stretch. Now, he wasn't the most efficient runner. He averaged under 3 yards per carry, but the name of the game for Zeke was volume. Just a ton of volume every single week that stabilized his production for fantasy football. 2022 was the exact same way with the Dallas Cowboys, averaging over 17 touches per game while sharing the backfield with Tony Pollard, I might add, but he still finished as a back-end RB2 both in total points and in points per game because of that volume and scoring touchdowns. 2021 was Zeke's last 1,000-yard season, and again, the name of the game, volume, 17 touches per game, double-digit touchdowns, RB15 in points per game, RB7 overall. And guess what's going to happen now in 2024 with his only competition being Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn? You guessed it, more volume and probably double-digit touchdowns again as the RB1 in a really good offense. And like I said at the beginning, his value is probably going to climb pretty significantly from his April ADP of RB74. But even if it does, he's still going to be grouped in with all the other cheap one-year rental guys like Aaron Jones, James Conner, Austin Eckler, Raheem Mostert maybe, and all of them are outside the top 30 RB still in ADP and are being traded for pennies on the dollar. So if you're a contending roster in 2024, probably all of you watching could use some extra depth at the running back position. So see if you can pull them away from whoever has them in your league, because they might just be happy that they can finally move on from Zeke for something of even remote value like future thirds or a hopeful young player. But you just got a potential top 20 overall running back that could help you win some weeks and get you closer to your championship goals in 2024. Next up is our fill-in, and again, it's another running back, but one that kind of feels forgotten based on how the offseason has gone so far, and it's Ty Chandler, the now RB2 on the Vikings behind Aaron Jones. And the argument for Chandler here is very simple. Aaron Jones has not been a model of perfect health since entering the league in 2017. He's only played 2 full seasons in 7 years, and other than that, he's missed multiple games every single year, including 6 games back in 2023. So if Jones misses any time at all in 2024, guess who's now the lead back in Minnesota? Ty Chandler. In 5 games last year, playing over 50% of snaps, Chandler averaged over 15 touches per game, 75 yards, and 0.4 touchdowns. He averaged over 12 fantasy points per game and was the RB22 over that 5-game stretch. And remember, these were Nick Mullins and Jaren Hall games for the Vikings last year. This was not a good offense to create a prolific fantasy running back, but Chandler was still an RB2 for fantasy when he was the starter. Now we fast forward to 2024. The Vikings have JJ McCarthy at quarterback, which even if you weren't a fan of him coming out of college, he's still better than Nick Mullins and Jaren Hall. Plus, they have a full offseason to work with him and get ready. The Vikings also lost KJ Osborne in free agency and replaced him with absolutely no one. And TJ Hawkinson probably won't play for at least half the season as he continues to recover from his major knee injury last year. So currently, there is no legitimate third option in the Vikings pass game for at least half, if not more, of the 2024 season, which is going to mean more targets and opportunities for the running back position. And this is all a big reason why I like Aaron Jones a lot this year as a one-year rental for contenders. But should Jones go down, Chandler is the next man up to receive a workhorse role in this offense, and that's going to be extremely valuable if we get to that point in season. But since it's the off season, it's only May right now, no one cares about these handcuff running backs, especially with rookie fever and all the handcuffs that we got from the NFL draft. No one's thinking about who the best backups are to roster for this season, and that presents a perfect opportunity to go out and buy Ty Chandler. The best way to do that is to probably include him in a larger deal as a throw-in rather than just go after Chandler himself, because then that way the focus on that trade is on other bigger names in that deal, and you're more likely to sneak away Ty Chandler rather than have them ask, why does he want Ty Chandler right now? Does he know something that I don't know? And now it might be a little bit more difficult for you to pull away Ty Chandler. So focus on a much larger trade, add Ty Chandler then as a throw-in at the end of the deal, and get somebody in that could be a very good workhorse RB2 if Aaron Jones were to go down and save you a week or two. Then lastly, we have our flyer, who is probably another forgotten name because he basically didn't play at all last year, but in 2022 was a super hot name at the tight end position, and that's Greg Dulcich with the Denver Broncos. The only thing that we have to hold on to for Dulcich's upside in the NFL is what he did as a rookie 2 years ago. In 10 games played, Dulcich was on pace for 700 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns on 56 receptions. That's 8.5 fantasy points per game, which in 2023 would have been good for the tight end 15 overall, almost exactly what Kyle Pitts' stat line was last year. But again, that's as a rookie tight end in a Nathaniel Hackett offense with bad Russell Wilson at quarterback. Fast forward now to 2024, the situation is at worst the exact same, if not most likely even better. We still have question marks at quarterback, but Jerry Jeudy is gone and replaced by a 4th-round rookie in Troy Franklin. Cortland Sutton is now 2 years older than he was in 2022, turning 29 in season, and there's been no major tight end additions to make me question whether Dulcich can still be the tight end 1 in this offense. Look, I get it. There's a reason why Dulcich has fallen to tight end 30 in Dynasty ADP. There's a reason why he's getting traded for 4ths and 5ths in Dynasty leagues right now, or packaged as a whatever piece in a larger trade. There's a reason why I put him in the flyer section of this video. He is 100% a major dart throw, but if he can stay healthy for an entire season, based on what we saw in 2022 as a rookie and how almost nothing has happened negatively for his situation on the Broncos, there is a more than fair chance that Dulcich becomes a player that you want to start in your lineup this year more often than not. And he's way too cheap to not get him and just see what happens this year in season.